The ancient Olympic Games were perhaps the most religious worldwide event in history. In a 5-day-long celebration in 776 BC, the first games were held as a festival for the Greek god Zeus. They were not focused on competition as we know today. Rather, the games were both a religious and political event where city-states could come together to worship and practice politics. The first games were held at Olympia, so that the Greeks could root the games within their own religious beliefs. For the Olympics, Greek architects designed a temple, which was a building used to worship the Greek religion pantheon. Inside of it was a throne and a statue made of gold. To this day, the building stands as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, where people from all across the globe come to visit and see its both historical and religious value. The original Olympic Games lasted only 5 days. However, sporting events were held on only 2 of them. The other 3 days were devoted to the intervention of the gods, with athletes swearing to follow the rules of Zeus. These games themselves originated as a ritual celebration of the god of Zeus and the other Greek gods. The results of the sporting events were said to be in control of these gods. If an athlete was favorable in the eyes of the gods, he would be assisted in winning the games. This is a perfect example of hierophany. People prayed to their sacred gods asking for help, and those seen as most fit to win the games would be assisted and triumph with the gods' manifestation into their bodies. Outcomes of these Olympic events depended almost entirely on the swaying of the gods. This is why praying and worshiping for 3 out of the 5 days played such a large role in the lives of ancient athletes. Athletes of the ancient Olympic Games trained in gymnasiums, where we get the word gymnasium from, each of which were dedicated to a specific god. An altar would reside in the center of their practice facility, where athletes can intervene with gods, such as Hercules, Apollo, Heracles, and Hermes. Each event that was played in one of these facilities was in honor of the god whose altar stood there. Gods that focused on war, strength, and sports would be called upon for assistance by spectators and participants alike. A total of 69 altars stood during these Olympic Games, and each month a sacrifice would be made for strength and for good fortune. In the middle of the ancient Olympic Games, a specific day would include a sacrifice of 100 oxen to the god Zeus in front of hundreds of spectators, athletes, and judges of the games. In the end, athletes did their training as an effort to please the gods. The games themselves featured events that were much different than the ones we know today. Events such as Stadion, 4-horse chariot race, and the mule cart race were among the most popular events. Some of the most exciting games we know today developed from the ancient Greek Olympics as well. At one point in time, 2 Greek men sat for hours trying to see who could throw a heavy rock farther. Others joined in the practice, and the event shot put was born. The only event that was actually recorded at the games this year was Stadion running. It consisted of athletes running a straight sprint for nearly 200 meters. The Greeks were to have said, "Victory by speed of foot is honored above all." While there are many other athletic components to the games, it is very clear that the main ones were religious. The ancient games involved sacrifice, prayer, and rituals in a 5-day-long celebration of both religion and athleticism. Today, the games have grown based off these traditions, and some games, such as marathon, sprint, and throwing events, still exist today.